lovely.
And we're back. Another Sunshine song. You know, you're coming back to my days in the 60s, man. That was Donovan. Sunshine
Groovy,
Superman. Far out.
Oh, hey, I like that.
Rob Cook, international man of mystery.
Well, you know, we got Captain Alamo in the house, along with the beautiful Susan Longley, and we thought we'd let them kind of say something because they are one of our proud sponsors of the show.
That'd be fantastic.
Well,
So I've actually got a couple of questions for Jaime and David. You know, they say that success leaves clues, and I know in the real estate industry, in order to be successful, you have to help a lot of families and serve a lot of families. Give us some clues on some things that have made you guys successful, and also, you know, they say work harder on yourself than you do on your business, and your business will blossom. Well, I know that both of your businesses this year have literally exploded. Give us some, you know, some things that you've done personally as far as personal development, and your business have both exploded as a result.
Who wants to start first?
So I'll start first. This is Jaime Corona here, and you know, one of the things that personally that I started doing was I usually wake up between 4:30 and 5 o'clock every morning, and I work out before work, and that sets me up for the day. And once I started that routine of waking up early and getting energized, I saw a dramatic increase in my business and my energy when servicing the clients.
That's
Any
too cruel.
other suggestions there?
That is too cruel.
That's too tough.
Can we come up with something easier?
Yeah.
David.
Well, mine, I need to get up and work out. The thing I really do is basically affirmations in the morning, and just trying to do some mindset and just really just getting myself in a mental position to be strong for my clients and just be positive. And so when I'm coming across to the clients, I can keep them calm through the storm of going through real estate, and just kind of steering them and helping them actually get through it, where they have a happy experience.
Of the many hats that you wear, being a counselor is one of them.
Oh, it's a big hat.
Yes.
It's all about focus, because if you're focused on everything, you're focused on nothing. So it's what am I going to do today, even if it's you have to go old school with a planner or a day runner or electronic version of the same thing. You've got to have, what are we going to do either this month or this quarter? What's the focus? You know, what aspect of the business are we going to try to build up? Because you got to have a plan.
Mm-hmm. And that brings up a great thing on multitasking. Everybody says multitasking. And of course, I'm going to plug in Gary Keller's book, The One Thing. On page 43, it says multitasking is the best way to mess up more than one thing. So that's exactly right.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So I actually talk about multitasking because I don't multitask, and I tell people up front, especially if I'm running a meeting or something like that. I said, I'm a horrible multitasker, so please no side conversation because I can't pay attention to more than one thing at a time. But one of the words I always like to use is purpose, because a lot of people are out there going through the motion, but they're not doing it with a purpose. And I use open houses, which I was very successful with open houses, but I went there with a purpose. Mm-hmm. I was going to meet somebody who would want to buy a house and use my services. I see so many people out there just going out there. They'll bring a newspaper with them, and someone will walk in. They'll say, hey, well, you know, just go ahead and look at the house. You got any questions, come back. Right. That is not a focus. So everything you do it with the intent of doing business and giving and providing a service for somebody. Exactly. Period.
It's like the way we approach the show. You have a plan and a roadmap, and you rehearse it, and you get it just right. Right? And that's...
That's correct, yes. And
well,
the same thing.
They can't hear her, so you're going to have to repeat that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Susan said I'm having an open house later today. Yeah, same thing. When I actually do an open house, I actually do go out and actually canvass the neighborhood, let everybody know I'm actually doing an open house.
Absolutely.
Get people to come in and actually get that input from them also on the home.
Does anyone ever get upset with you because you knocked on the door and asked them to come into the open house?
Well, I wouldn't say never, but not very often.
Not very often.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than trying to sell them something.
Exactly.
Say, look, we want to invite you to come to the open house. Sure. You may have some refreshments. Sure. And because the first people who usually come to an open house when you have a new listing is the nosy neighbors.
Exactly.
We love nosy neighbors. They have people they know that want to buy.
Or they maybe need to sell their house.
Or they might want to sell their house. Exactly. But that's a great resource. And again, when someone has an open house and someone walks in, they're telling you, I'm in the market to buy a house.
Exactly.
So you've got to capitalize on that and tell them why they need to use you. So tell me your little elevator speech is
Well, I take care of my clients, obviously, but the biggest thing, I'm at really more of a listing agent than a buyer's agent. I work with a lot of buyers, but mainly coming off of my listings. And what I was telling Susan on the way down here, my success is really the expired listings that come up, or agents of overpriced houses. Houses are moving in this market right now greatly if they're actually priced properly, where they're going to appraise them at that level and not just throwing a sticker price on the house where it's going to sit for 6 months.
Yeah, they always say, well, go ahead and price a little higher because they can always offer less, but we can't go up later.
You're losing the buyers.
Yeah,
So you got to price it properly up front, and the house will sell. And I was telling Susan, I just took a listing last week that had been on the market for a year. I'd gone through 2 different agents, and I'd actually went through the interview process on the second agent that they'd gone through, and they told me I was the number 2 choice. But they went with another agent that said that the house could sell for $45,000 above what I told them the house was going to sell for. Well, 6 months later, they came back and said, "Now you're our number 1 choice."
Yeah, you're the one that told them the truth.
Yeah, I told them the truth, and I put the house in the market and got a full price offer in 48 hours.
I call those fierce conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a lot of times they don't understand, even though you're trying to explain it to them.
Right.
Even in a hot market, it still has to be priced correctly.
Correctly.
And not only priced correctly, you need to stage it correctly.
Yeah.
So when they walk in, you got one chance to make a first impression, and if it looks bad,
No.
then unless they're somebody who's looking to remodel something anyway, and that's their focus, they may not care. But for the most part, people they've got enough money to buy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't necessarily have enough money to remodel everything.
They don't need to. They just actually stay. And I'm an accredited staging professional. I do that part of my listing. We use professional photography. I do that so the house shows beautiful on the internet, and that's where everybody's looking. So if it shows they're good, we get the traffic, the properties move.
Yeah, the last stat I heard is 87% of all home searches start on the internet, but I think it's
Exactly.
probably in the 90s.
Oh,
When we first started
right.
migrating to the internet,
Mm-hmm.
it was like 20, 30%. And we're talking about over a really short period of time, how it's changed in a decade.
Right.
Everything starts on the internet. I still see people out there, $1 million listings with not even a good iPhone.
Oh, yeah.
A bad iPhone, their iteration from, 4 generations ago.
Right.
And they're taking pictures of $1 million houses with their phone.
And the toilet seats are up.
And
Yeah.
well, first of all, number 1 rule: don't take pictures of toilets unless it's something really exotic. But that is not a good thing to showcase in a home. We all know they have them.
Yeah.
We don't need to focus on them.
There you go.
But the gold toilets on the Learjet, maybe.
Maybe. But for the most part, no. If realtors are listening out there, don't take pictures of the toilets. I mean, just don't. The bathtubs maybe, showers maybe if they're really nice, but the focus on the kitchens, the living areas, and things like that, and make multiple shots, because a lot of times
Right.
I've seen people out there take a shot of a living area, but you're really missing
The different angles,
the,
right.
the different angles, and it's okay to have 4 shots of the living room.
Exactly. Especially the kitchen. You want a lot of shots of the kitchen.
It's really interesting. We did an analysis years ago because at that time HR only required, we're only allowed 6 photos.
Right.
And then somebody had brought up the fact that on eBay they could get a kitty condo, which is a carpet-covered thing that you bought for your cats, and they were selling them using 18 to 24 photos. And so we got people selling kitty condos on eBay with more photos than people are selling,
Their houses.
expensive houses. And I thought, something's wrong here.
We are behind the curve here.
Well, realtors as a whole, and the average age is still about 57. We're not the first to embrace technology, and so we've taken people. I was probably a rarity because once, I had an 8088 DOS computer back in the 80s, and migrated over to Windows, and I embraced it. But a lot of people my age did not embrace it. And in fact, there's still people out there today don't have email. Seriously, I've said, how do you even function?
Well, it's different for all of us in service business, whether it's real estate, insurance, take travel agents, You used to have a monopoly on information because you had MLS and, nobody else. There was not a whole lot of resources for insurance and travel agents. How are you going to find all these hotel offers and deals back in the day before the internet was available to everyone? So even though in the service business we've lost our monopoly on information, we can still maintain our monopoly on our expertise if we keep sharp and keep up to date and, continue to add value to the equation. But if we don't,
You're exactly right.
going to have big problems. So it's very difficult to overcome that loss of information monopoly, but we're all adjusting.
Yeah, we try to be the gatekeeper a long time, but the consumers are in the driver's seat.
They are.
They want the information, but you know what? They don't have the experience, so they don't know what to do with that information necessarily.
Right.
And I don't even know that they believe it, like the people that price their house and you're the third realtor.
Right.
Yeah, I'm okay with being the last realtor if I'm the one that's selling it. By the way,
Exactly, right. And you just tell them that you got to tell them the truth, and it's just. But a lot of people want the top. Obviously, as much money as they can get. We got Susan dying in the studio.
Yeah, we have this effect on lots of people, Susan.
But yeah, it's just telling them the truth and just them really believing that you really know what you're doing. So.
Well, the thing about not pricing it correctly is it ends up being stigmatized in the marketplace because people go, "Boy, that's been on the market for a year. There's something wrong."
Right. Exactly.
And that's just how people are. There's something wrong there. And so, yeah, what's wrong is overpriced.
Yes, exactly.
And that snowballs because
Yeah.
people see that this house has been on the market for a long time, and now they're going to create scenarios in their minds as to why that may not even be so.
Yeah, and sometimes the response comes back from the seller, well, just market it more. And your response should be, how many other people do you want me to tell that your house is overpriced? That's the answer, because overpriced is overpriced. If you were going to go out and buy a new Mustang convertible and you go to one Ford dealership and it's $40,000 and another one it's $38,000, you're going to buy the $38,000 one.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, I used to
So
say
lots
that,
of substitution.
we used to say that the house is worth what someone will pay for it.
Open market.
But then you have to refine that thought even further, and you have to realize the house is worth what someone who wants it can get finance for. It's worth what it will appraise for. It's just so many moving parts to it all. And sometimes when sellers come into it with an emotional attachment to their house, or they have a figure that they're trying to plug into their retirement, and when they need to extract this much money from this sale, that's not healthy.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's when you have those what I call fierce conversations.
Right.
It's not going to happen if you're going to overprice your house. Have you had appraisal issues out there in Tomball or Woodlands?
Not so much in the last 6 months. Actually, the values basically, obviously, with the last 2 years, they've increased well, and now they're kind of stabilized. And so the appraisers are basically giving at value, and generally, I've even gotten a little bit above that value. So, and a lot of my deals, if we price them right, we even get multiple offers. And I had a closing year date that was $8,000 overpriced. So, it's just get into a bidding war and get the price right, and hopefully the appraisal will come in.
Yeah.
So.
We've got about a minute before break. Why don't you brag about Alamo Title for a minute? What's so great about them?
Oh, Alamo Title. Well, first of all, Captain Alamo is in the house.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. But no, we are a Fortune 500 company, and we have a far reach. We can pretty much pull title anywhere in the outlying markets and around Houston. We have 13 offices in the greater Houston metroplex. And we're here to serve. We love serving, and we love closing folks on time and correctly. And we've enjoyed all of our clients, and look forward to the continued success of all of our clients.
Well,
You got good snacks in your office?
We do have. That's the best thing. Snacks. Yes, we do have some good.
Can
snacks.
we just drop by someday and have
Yes,
snacks?
yes.
Got a
yes,
Keurig
Tim.
machine? I might,
Yeah, Tim,
got
Rob,
some-
come on out.
Well,
and,
Tim's a tea guy, so we
yeah.
can have some tea.
Yeah,
Of course, he always travels with tea, so you probably have at it. But
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got you covered.
okay, well, we are coming up against a break now because Josh is giving me the eye, and so we'll be right back.
Okay.